SolidWorks has 4 different tools that can be used to draw slots. The straight slot tool can be used to draw both internal and external slot shapes. Access the sketching tools, define a plane. Click the straight slot tool and the center to center option. Click a starting point. The origin is selected. Move the cursor horizontally and define a second point. The distance between points 1 and 2 will define the slot's center line. Move the cursor and select a third point. The distance between points 2 and 3 will define the radius of the slot's rounded ends. Add dimensions as required to fully define the shape. Now we are going to create the center point straight slot. Click the center point straight slot tool. Click a starting point. Move the cursor horizontally and define a second point. Move the cursor and select a third point. Add dimensions as required to fully define the shape. Now we are going to draw a 3-point arc slot. Access the sketching tools, define a plane. Click the 3-point arc slot tool. Click a starting point. Move the cursor and define point 2. Move the cursor and define point 3. The angular distance between points 1 and 2 will define the angular length of the arc. The distance between point 3 and the arc's center point will define the arc's radius. Move the cursor and define point 4. The distance between points 3 and 4 will define the radius for the slot's rounded ends. Add dimensions as required. Now we are going to draw a center point arc slot. Click the center point arc slot tool. Click a starting point. Move the cursor and define point 2. The distance between the starting point, point 1, and point 2 will define the radius of a circle. The circle will be used to define the arc. The radius of the arc will be equal to the radius of the circle. Move the cursor and define point 3. The angular distance between points 2 and 3 will define the angular length of the arc. Move the cursor and define point 4. The distance between points 3 and 4 will define the radius for the slot's rounded ends. Add dimensions as required. If you like video, press like and share. Have any question, comment below. Try to answer you. To learn SolidWorks beginning to advanced level, subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.